Hello and welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room YouTube channel and Twitter. Today, if you aren't already, make sure you go over to the Twitter. I'm just going to put in the YouTube link here so you can come and interact with us and we can get all your great comments. But I'm, of course, joined by the main man, Mr. Jack Edwards. How are you, Jack?
I'm doing great, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm good. I had a bit of a rough night last night. Went out drinking, as all students do here in the UK. But I'm okay now. I'm happy. I'm in good vibes. I'm looking forward to West Ham tomorrow. It's going to be a really, really challenging game. What are your thoughts on it, mate? Are you optimistic, shall we say?
You know, I looking at West Ham, right? This may be a bit disrespectful, but I never look at them as the side that scares me. I look at the schedule, I'm saying that's the side where I'm worried about that, especially at London Stadium recent matches. I just think in the orange kit and Mo Salah, it's just good vibes every single time. Might have had a purple one thrown in there once or twice. Maybe it's a different kit, different year. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
But after listening to your interview with Roshane Thomas, which on the YouTube, if you want to go check it out, he definitely made some good points as to why they're actually quite a ferocious side. They got some good, talented players. Our favorite guy, Jared Bowen. I like Ben Rama a lot. Declan Rice is, I think, developing to be one of the best midfielders in all of England. So it's really going to be a good match. I'm interested in how we match up with them.
Yeah. As well, before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. That'd be amazing. We're at 1.52k. It'd be great to get to 1.6k pretty soon. I don't know why no one would do that. But yeah, and just another reminder, if you are joining us on Twitter, please come and join us on YouTube. We can't see anything you're commenting on Twitter. It's a weird thing with StreamYard. So if you come and join us, we'll be very, very happy and we'll give you lots of attention on your comments. But Jack, I'm a little bit worried. And it's a really interesting point that Roshane made, actually, and I don't know whether I sort of agree with him. West Ham's midfield is probably better than ours.
When I heard that, I was saying that's a surprise. That is a surprise. Because, you look at West Ham, Declan Rice, and who else? It's like,
Declan Rice, Souček.
Souček is a baller. I cannot lie. He's very, very good. So is Rice, obviously. I heard mention Rice is very, very good. But I think that in terms of if you were to stack up individual talent on the midfielders, I think Rice is third in a combined list. I think that's Fabinho or Thiago Fabinho, then him. You could even throw in likes of Henderson is in a real argument with him. So to say that they have a better midfield, I thought it was, maybe he proves me right. And I think actually on recent performance, he's justified in that. I think I'm a big believer in class, permanent, temporary.
Yeah. Almost temporary class is permanent.
Exactly. I'm a big believer in that. And I think the West Ham have some pretty class players, but I think Liverpool are just a step above, just a notch above, personally. But again, it's the kind of thing where there's the midfield play is so inconsistent with Liverpool. It could come and go day by day.
Well, yeah. And David Moyes has really got a system nailed down there. And a regular team and players that don't get injured very often, which isn't like Liverpool. How good a job has David Moyes done at West Ham?
Unbelievable. I mean, and again, Roche made a really great point on it when he was talking about how the perception was when he joined the club versus where it is now. David Moyes is not a beautiful name, especially with the last his time at Man United was very short spent. But I think West Ham, Everton are exactly his level. That's not a disrespect. It's not a slight to him. It's the fact that, he is very, very good at the notch below the top tier. And I mean, fourth in the table, they win this match against Liverpool. They go joint second ahead of Liverpool by a point. That is remarkable. I mean, he has done to West Ham what Newcastle owners are hoping will be done to them. They get a club of big size, but, not historically been contending with the big six, and they're bursting that bubble. It's been a truly remarkable rise by him, and I'm very impressed, actually. I think the more and more that I've seen from West Ham, they play very good style of football as well. It's not bad. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, score a lot of goals, and they're a good team to watch. I mean, you got Bowen, who we both really like. I'm still shooting that shot, and he's come out this week and spoken a lot about how much he admires Mo Salah. So that'll be that's very interesting.
Be his successor.
Pablo Fornals as well, good, very good player in Spain, and has really settled in now in the last couple of years. Michael Antonio, I mean, he's a force of nature. It really. He came out earlier this week and said he was stronger than Virgil van Dijk, which is a really interesting one. Anthony says screw Bowen. Don't do that, mate. I'm not sure he'd be up for that.
I see. Going back to these Bowen debates that we had in the summer, would you have taken him now? I don't think you could really make an argument, especially with Firmino's long-term injury. I think Origi and Minamino have looked good in the moments they've had, as good as you could expect from fifth and sixth choice options. But would you appreciate Bowen on your side right now? I would very much appreciate Bowen right now, especially he's played very well so far this season. And I think that he's going to continue to develop. So the perception of him is, we talked about this, if it was Jared Bowendinho, he would be would rave about him.
Can someone Photoshop Jared Bowen onto Ronaldinho, please?
That would be with the hair. I mean, he's too normal and English bloke, you know? He's like you, Chris, if you were out there. Like,
he is literally, if I was playing football.
You wouldn't be too inspiring. That's not disrespect you. I think you inspire me very much, Chris. But on a football pitch, a football pitch, I don't know how inspiring that is. So it's interesting nonetheless. I think I'm going to watch him very closely in that match. That's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, as well as we mentioned Rice, we mentioned Souček. I mean, young Ben Johnson came in and actually scored a goal last week from right back. Very cheap option on fantasy football. By the way, in the LFC transfer room, I played my wild card this week, by the way, and I left Tyrick Mitchell and Conor Gallagher on the bench. Crystal Palace, that's 14 points down the drain for me, and I've only got 15 points at the moment.
I have 6 points. I forgot to edit my lineup. That's because I had Robert Sanchez in net with his theatrics at the end of that match. That was not a very good turn. That was pretty big.
Weird, wasn't it?
Like my front trio: Ronaldo, Ivan Toney, and Raul Jimenez. 4 points combined, and that's with Jimenez as
my forwards are the worst part of my team. I've got Juan Hee-chan, Gabriel Jesus, and Richarlison.
Value options. Those are good 7 million and low value options.
Yeah, because I was like Mo Salah, Heung-min Son, and all that. But yeah, moving on. We keep going on West Ham for us. No Bobby Firmino. Going to be a big miss.
Do we know how long that is?
Jurgen said 4 weeks, but he said 4 weeks for Henderson last season. It turned out to be like 6 months. So, yeah.
It should. I don't say it should be illegal, but it's like the discrepancy between the how much like the like actual injury is versus how much we say it is. Like, oh, it's a minor knock, and then Thiago's out for 6 weeks. It's like there's just no real updates after the first statement, and it kind of just progresses worse and worse. That's a huge loss, honestly. If it is just 4 weeks, then we'll be able to have him back for really need him when the AFCON boys go. Mane, Salah, and Keita. Keita's been enough; he's back fit by then. So we really need him by then. I mentioned in the video actually that without Firmino, if Firmino's injury is say 3 months, takes him out till February. The owner, I think you have to consider investing in another forward option in the window, like a Karim Adeyemi or something like that. I know you're a big fan of that, Chris. I think you're a big Karim Adeyemi fan.
I am, but yeah, it's a really interesting one. It's going to depend on how fit and well Takumi Minamino and Divock Origi are. I think for FSG personally, I think that if for FSG, if we win top 4 and maybe win the Carabao Cup, that's a great season financially for us. Maybe reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We're making money. We're making bag there. We're making profit, which isn't great for all of us who want to go and win trophies, and hopefully we can do that.
I think the ownership is really. I think that they are building a squad that is built for a Champions League run. Great top end. Our top end is as good as it is anywhere else in Europe. But the amount of money it costs to purchase, to develop, and to pay and maintain great depth is astronomical. Look at City. I mean, you have to pay a ton of your guys a lot of money to keep them around. Versus, I think if a great Champions League campaign and top 4 in the Prem is the dream for every single club in Europe, or in England, I should probably specify as, because then you get a bunch of the prize money is the top end of the prize money in the Prem, and the Champions League prize money can really get you quite a fair penny. So I think that they are building a side that's capable for that, and I'm interested if no Firmino. You're actually, I kind of forgot that Jota exists. I won't lie. So your front three would be Jota, Origi, Minamino.
Jota, Mane, Salah at the moment, but then
Jota, Origi, Minamino. As with without Firmino, no drop. Like there's nothing behind that. That would be interesting to see.
I have seen there's quite a lot of you over on the Twitter, so please make sure to come onto the YouTube. It is way better, and a better viewing experience, and you can comment.
It's not us being like sticklers that come on over the YouTube. StreamYard just decided, let's not see Twitter comments anymore. So, which is quite a shame because I like you people on Twitter.
StreamYard is, everyone on Twitter is class, man, especially give our whole community. But please come over to the YouTube. It's so much better for you as well. Moving on, I mean, for us, Jack, a Champions League win in midweek where we were just absolutely dominant. West Ham scraped a win in Belgium, massive win for them in the Europa League. How much in terms of the form, are the two teams going to clash? They're two teams on a high. It's going to be reliant on a fast start, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually checking. I think they drew with Genk on Thursday.
Didn't they win? I swear they won.
No, late own goal from Thomas Suchek. That
2-2. Well, they're still in good nick.
They're in good shape overall, yeah. But Benrahma brace. No, I think that they looked good. I mean, they beat City, knocked them out of the cup, beating Tottenham, which wasn't much of a test. But like in their last matches, up until that draw with Genk, their last match they dropped was beginning in October against Brentford, 2-1 loss. This is a team that's good. They are the 4th best team in the league in terms of the standings right now, and they're one of the best teams in the league because they were 5th, 6th last
season,
and 2 points off top 4. So really, they've been a brilliant side recently. So there's very valid reason for us to be worried. I think that for us, that Brighton match. Again, I'm back to my point on better prepared for Champions League campaigns. Some of these matches in the league that we've dropped, Brentford and Brighton especially, just are painful. This one would be another painful one because you can't just paint every team in the league off as a good side to draw against. But they're in a good vein of form. Only thing I would say is maybe the Europa League hangover affects them a bit more than it affects us with the Wednesday because they're traveling back from Belgium. We're staying home at Anfield. So I'm interested in how that plays an impact on things.
Yeah, it is it's an interesting one, and it's going to be a hell of a game. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. We always had a bit of a knack since West Ham have gone to their new stadium of turning up. You mentioned Mo Salah in the orange kit. We talk about Mo Salah in the kit in the game last season where he scored twice. Wijnaldum was scoring the other one. Was that in the blue, or am I going? Was that in the other one? What was the other kit last year? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, that black and red one. That they were in that as well. We were in the middle. I think West Ham might have been one of the first wins we saw as a YouTube channel last year.
Yeah, that sounds correct because I just remember that match being like just a short reprieve from how brutal that season was in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I mean we had Leipzig and West Ham and Tottenham. And then we lost everything else.
That was a bad start to the channel. Wasn't Tottenham in January, like before the inception of the channel?
It might have been. It was. Oh man, it was just so stinky.
Yeah, I mean, you go like the channel kind of gets formed like around the end of January. Lose to United,
literally the end of January.
Yeah, win against Spurs, win against West Ham, both 3-1 wins, and then it just begins like just the terror, like. I mean, look at that. Lost to Brighton, lost to City, lost to Leicester, lost to Everton, win against Sheffield. I genuinely cannot believe, looking back on that actually happened. That was real life. That just feels like a fever dream.
It does, to be honest. The whole of this year has been a bit of a fever dream, to be honest. The whole of the last 18 months, but we're here now. And Liverpool are in a good way. We're still unbeaten this year. Are West Ham going to be the team that ends it, Jack?
No, I don't think so. I think Liverpool have it in them. I think that Salah's taken a few days off. Did Brewster get his first league goal today? That's actually very exciting news from Anthony right there in the comments. I think, as Anthony mentioned, with Thiago Fabinho being back, the midfield is going to be better in this one. In the preview video, go check it out on our YouTube page. Had Roshane Thomas on it, or Roshane. But I think I might have butchered it in the video. So Roshane, if you're watching, I apologize for mispronouncing your name. With Thiago, Fabinho, and Henderson as my midfield trio that I predicted, that I think could really kind of run the match. And I think that with Andy Robertson, because you have a competition at left back, I think this team's in a good spot, especially you've won your Champions League group. Now you kind of focus on the league for the next foreseeable future, because you've got beyond maybe a cup appearance in the round of 16 or quarterfinals, the Carabao Cup. You're looking at your next two Champions League matches are like, they don't matter. You could lose 10-0. Doesn't affect anything. You would want the $2.5 million that you get for it. Like I said, Jude Bellingham. I'm over the moon, obviously, but I'm looking at the league is now your focus until the new year, which is very short, so like amount of time, surprisingly. But I'm optimistic. Are we doing score predictions today, or are we saving those for tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we should do score predictions and a predicted lineup. Why not?
Let's do it. Do you want to pull up a graphic?
I don't have access anymore. We can just chat it, mate. We'll chat it through.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Unless you've got it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we have a overlay template for that.
I do. We usually just screen share a Photoshop file, so we're pretty lazy with it.
Yeah. So we'll have to take the overlay off.
Okay. So
right, we'll take the overlay off and we'll just vibe here for a bit.
We got WHULIV.
But yeah, it's gonna be a tough game, but we'll get into our predicted lineup now. So we will edit this into a different video as well, so that's gonna be fun. But I do see there's still quite a few of you over on the Twitter. Make sure you come across to the YouTube so you can comment who you think should be in Liverpool's midfield, and if you're an absolute legend, why wouldn't you come over to the YouTube? Jack, are you ready to crumble?
Yeah, let's share this bad boy.
There we go. Let's get it shared.
All right. There's that guy. All right. So this is actually the lineup we had from the Atletico Madrid match. So this is what we predicted. We had Robertson. It was actually Tsimikas. So it was Fabinho in the midfield, right? Henderson and Oxlade, was it?
Yeah.
And then it was his front three. So we were kind of close. Only ones here was this one. Anyways, so this one, easy first, Alisson.
Alisson has to be in goal, obviously. Probably been one of our best players this season, unsung hero.
So Trent at right back, again, easy one.
Yeah.
Center backs. Who was the center backs for last match? It was
Matip, and that makes me think it's going to be Konate today on Sunday.
I backed that, actually. I think that it is going to be.
And I think against Michail Antonio, you have to use a player of Konate's physical presence.
Yeah. I think Van Dijk, best center back in the league.
Yeah.
Best in the world.
Still.
So left back. I'm really interested in your thoughts on this, Chris. Tsimikas Robertson debate.
I am a Tsimikas advocate purely because, as you said, form is temporary, class is permanent, but you can't drop a player who's playing as well as Kostas Tsimikas. It's an amazing thing to have two brilliant left backs, one of which is one of the best in the world. But Robertson, we forget, has had little to no rest over the last 3 years. He's played every single game. Oh, my camera's died. This is what you get for getting an expensive camera, mate. Wait there.
No, yeah, because I'll talk through it.
Yeah, so this, like, Kostas Tsimikas is playing well. You can't drop a player who's playing well for me. But if we're doing predicted lineups and what I think will happen, I think Robertson will play.
Oh, that's an interesting one. So you would prefer Simicast, but you think it'll be?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I'm of the same mind where I would prefer Simicast to play, but I think that Klopp would prefer him there. So it would be Bowen on the right. I do think that Klopp would want a bit of a better defensive presence against Bowen.
Yeah.
I think he does command that a bit. I will put the 6, and we will have Robertson be our left back of choice. So defensive mid, I'm assuming Fabinho returns.
Fabinho has to come in, 100%, as he did against Madrid.
Fabinho.
We really need a better lineup graphic. So if Anthony's in the comments still, please make us one.
Well, we need to make one so it's not a Photoshop file because this does look a little bit rinky dink, you know, because you got like this all this up here, this inside, this inside. If we were able to do like something we could edit and over, like, I don't know. That's a discussion for another video or another day. Who joins him in the midfield in the 8s? I'm gonna toss out Thiago as the left-sided and Henderson as the right-sided. These are gonna be my shout.
I would be a little bit I don't know, I'd be a little bit wary of sticking Thiago in. I think he'll stick with a Henderson and Oxlade-Chamberlain personally, and that's not due because he's my boy Ox, but I don't think Thiago starts.
I actually kind of agree with that. I think that Oxlade is, I mean, Thiago is one of the best midfielders in the world when he's fit and he's firing, but Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think, is actually, speaking after, you know, on the Simicast debate, I think this is both a blending of the two worlds, where it's after a very good Madrid match, I think he deserves to come back in, and the fact that I think he's the best option. I think that it makes sense for Thiago's fitness. Did Thiago get called up to Spain national duty, or is he?
Yeah, I assume so.
That is brutal. That is brutal news. It's like we get him right in time, and then he's off to go get hurt again for his national nation.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, but I think this midfield trio would be very balanced, very nice. I think
that. Nope, he's not in it. He's not in it. He's not. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So he gets an entire 2 weeks to take it off. Fabinho, Thiago, and Hendo. I agree, Monis. I like that, but in terms of what I expect to happen, I expect it to be Oxlade, especially with the fact that Thiago is staying home over the international break. That actually increases my belief of that. Because Klopp isn't a case of getting him while he can. You know,
you got to take care of Thiago. And Ox, he's a player who will need rhythm, and I think he's a man who he was brilliant against Atletico. Like, best I've seen him play in a long, long time.
And it was a performance that it wasn't a goal and assist popped up. He was winning the ball back. He was playing really good, incisive passes. His movement was great. Only gripe I have with this duo of 8s is that Henderson, I think he would appreciate Thiago Fabinho the most because he needs some more defensive solidity next to him. He would appreciate that a bit more, but I think this will be a very good balance because it's like you can't have one defensive mid and then two kind of guys like to go forward.
Ox just provides something different.
He does.
I haven't seen anything actually on Ox. Let me just have a look on LFCTransferroom.com.
I don't think that he has any injury issues. If you're thinking about that, I read.
Yeah, because I think he came off.
Yeah.
LFCTransferroom.com says nothing on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, so it's good news. I expect, Anthony. I haven't seen anything from Jurgen on that, so.
Yeah, when I was preparing for the West Ham video, I was reading his notes, and he talked about Keita. Well, Keita and Elliott were obvious no's. Curtis got hit in the eye in practice, like cut in the eye, I think. Joe has a calf issue, and then who am I forgetting?
Milner,
and then Firmino with a long-term injury. Yeah,
precautions. Ox is vibing. But yeah, I'd 100% start him. I think you need to give him a run of games, personally.
I agree. We've been talking about the midfield a lot, but the front three, I mean, dude, does a Minamino or an Origi jump in here?
No. That front three's guaranteed to start. Maybe after 60, 65 minutes, if we're winning 2 or 3-0, we might see Divock Origi emerge from the basement where he belongs. He's never actually in the basement though, is he? He's always out. He always escapes and somehow finds his way onto a football pitch.
Has he scored in the Prem this year?
No, he hasn't scored. Didn't score in the Prem last year either.
So he scored in the Champions League or he had an assist against Milan. Did he score?
He's Carabao Cup. He's Carabao Cup Mo Salah, mate.
It is true. Him and Minamino are different gravy. Who's our next match in the cup? Is it
Leicester at home?
That's
Leicester aren't ready for Di Firmino. They're really not.
They're not.
Honestly, I'm honest, mate. Ox is winning on and off the field.
Oh my god, it's so true. He's a baller. This is our predicted 11. This lineup, how does this lineup fare for you, Chris?
I think that lineup wins us the game comfortably. I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm a lot more confident looking at that lineup. I think Kanate and Van Dijk deal with Antonio. I think, the way that Kanate is physically, I think he's all over him. Midfield is the only place I'm worried about, as Roshane said and as we've said. But I think if we see a flying Oxlade-Chamberlain, West Ham won't be able to deal with it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that, and there's also options off the bench, with Thiago, who could really kind of change things up.
We're kind of big. There we go.
I like that. We're our gigantic faces in here. No, yeah, I definitely. I think that it's a. I'm interested. Do you want to go score prediction first? Or do you want me to?
I want to ask you a question. How many West Ham players get into a Liverpool team?
I'm going to pull up for reference West Ham's starting lineup from the last match, because I just want to make sure I don't forget anybody. Because so of that lineup, none of the back five. I'm comfortable saying that. Declan Rice, I think, gets in that midfield. I think Declan Rice gets into the. He's one of the eights next to.
Yeah, I think he gets in above Ox if we do that. If we say it's Ox,
I think we replace Ox, and I'm trying to think if Souček gets in over Henderson.
I'll tell you what. Let's just scrap it. Strongest team out. Does anyone get in from West Ham into Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago?
Yes, I think Rice does.
Do you think Rice goes in above Hendo?
I think he does.
So do I. I agree.
I think that is the sole, and as exactly as Mona says, Rice for Henderson, but that's debatable. It's really up there. I think on current form this season, I would take Rice over Henderson. Excuse me.
Would you put Antonio ahead of Firmino? Because I think Antonio under Klopp would be different.
I'm interested in how his link-up play would pan out.
Yeah, he'd probably play on the wing. Not gonna lie.
He goes through the middle and he would try and bring in space. It'd be an interesting one. Now, I think Jota's ahead of both of them. So I think that's a good one. That's also a good point from Anthony. Does Henderson start in our strongest 11? I think our strongest 11 in my eyes is Thiago, Keita, Fabinho. And in that instance, Rice or Keita. Because all I can think about when I think about Keita is just that match against Man United when he absolutely bossed it, goal and an assist.
Peak Keita, no. But with Naby Keita, you have a player who's going to play 25 games a season.
Yes.
Maximum.
Yes.
With Declan Rice, you have a player who will probably play 38.
Yeah. And so I think that
I'd do anything to have him at Liverpool. I think he's so good.
Rice is very, very good. I mean, I actually haven't been on Football Reference in quite a while. I want to see how his actual stats look like. If he's one of those, we can look at the stats. And the stats don't do it justice. He's great at interceptions. Pass completion's pretty good. He's got decent goal numbers. Like I said, I pull out his bigger stats. He shoots pretty well. He passes pretty well. I mean, he defends very well. He's very good in possession and carrying. He is an all-round midfielder. People talk about Bellingham as the potential future for Gerrard. I think Rice is closer to Gerrard than Bellingham. That might be a bit controversial.
I'd still prefer Bellingham.
I would prefer Bellingham.
I'm not going to lie.
I would prefer Bellingham, but I think that
imagine if Bellingham and Rice came, it would be different. It would be different.
A midfield trio of Fabinho.
That would probably cost you over £200 million.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing.
Oh yeah, that would be. I mean, that would be a phenomenal investment because I mean, Bellingham is still a teenager, right? And Declan Rice is what 22, about to turn 23 in January. I mean, that would be Bellingham or Rice. I think it would be Bellingham, if you ask me.
I would prefer Bellingham because he's got 4 years on him, and he is, in my opinion, like more suited to Klopp's system. Can play in that like 3-8 that we have that Ox is going to be playing in tomorrow, I think. But yeah, I'm buzzing. Like if we sign either of those, I don't think either of them will happen. If it being,
I really think that Bellingham, it's just it seems like there's too much smoke for there not to be a fire.
I hope you're right, Jack. And if he is, I'm getting Bellingham on the back of my shirt. 11 life.
That's a lie. Score prediction of the match, Chris.
Score prediction. I'm going to go 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah. Actually, no. I'm going to go 4-2. I'm going to go 4-2 to Liverpool. I think.
Who's scoring?
I think Mo Salah is. He's had a goal drought of 2 games, so he has to get back on the goal scoring sheet. But yeah, he'll get 2. I back Virgil. To score. I have done every single time, so it will be that. And I'm going to say a cheeky Divock Origi substitute goal. And Bowen 2 goals for West Ham.
Man, Anthony 4-1, Moniz 3-1. Man, those are some predictions. I'm not that confident that many goals, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to say 3-2 Liverpool. I think it's going to be scrappy. But I think that this is gonna be like 2-2 late and some like Salah contentious penalty decision, get the VAR, Liverpool going. I think that something crazy gonna happen like that. Like he's gonna go in the box and Souček is gonna like accidentally like tug his shirt. He's gonna go down, try to shoot the ball. That's what the winning pen. So I think I'm gonna say there's gonna be 1 from Antonio, 1 from Bowen. And then there's going to be 2 from Mane, and then the penalty from Salah to win it.
Lovely. That'll be sick. Just some non-Liverpool talk before we leave. Daniel Farke sat by Norwich today after they won their first game of the season against Brentford. Tough place to go. We know about that. Weird timing.
Very, very weird timing. I agree. I'm trying to find the article. Here it is from Michael Bailey, friend of the channel. He came on one of the first days of the season. So it's because according to what the Athletic reported is that they hope to have a replacement in place, like before they host Southampton next time out. Which, if you do it after the win, that suggested to me was you've already got your replacement. But they haven't got their replacement yet, according to reports.
It is a strange one. I mean, it depends how ambitious Norwich City are. I mean, who's going to go in there willingly that is of a certain standard that's not Big Sam and save them? Well, I don't think anyone does, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
If you're still over on Twitter, make sure to come across and watch the rest of the stream before we go. Ollie to Norwich.
Here's the thing, right? And that's another thing because they lost.
That's his level, though. To be fair,
I was watching that match, and like they were just destroyed by Manchester City.
It was so funny, wasn't it? It was like because we just hit them and they didn't really know what happened. But Man City bled them dry. Yeah,
I saw the tweet. It said Liverpool just went straight for the jugular versus City will kill you by like 1,000 cuts. Like they lack that, just directness that Liverpool have, but they can play some football. I mean, their 2 goals are super ugly. I mean, it was just moronic defending from Bailey, from Eric Bailey, and then moronic defending from Maguire and Shaw.
And De Gea.
I mean, do you fault him for that second goal?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. He throws it in his own net. If Alisson did that, everyone would be fuming.
Yeah.
And the way that he reacted.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying that's Gerard of Norwich. God. I would
God
love to
damn.
Newcastle, somewhere where he has a platform to succeed.
Eddie
Norwich,
Howe's going there, so
no.
Eddie
Yeah,
Howe was at Brighton today to watch the Newcastle game, so I think
Eddie Howe's done. I think they confirmed that almost. Did they not?
Yeah.
He's basically
Neil Warnock. I am actually living in Cardiff at the moment, Ultra 3-star swordsman. But I bet you love being called that, mate. I wish I was called that. But Neil Warnock, I mean, has a terrible record in the Premier League.
Mhm.
I don't think he's ever kept his side up. He should have kept Cardiff up, and they were screwed over by the referees quite a few times. But I can't see him going to Norwich. I think it'd be crazy, crazily backwards appointment. They should personally. Who is going to go in there, Jack, and do better than Daniel Farker? Because I don't think they will. I don't think anyone will.
Unless you're looking maybe like a big sign like a Fonseca from Roma manager. Like he was being linked to Spurs a lot. Unless you really want to make some big waves and go for him. I don't.
That's like saying, Jack, do you want to go out with a supermodel with a great personality, or like just the worst one at the party? Like, do you want to go for the worst girl at the party? She's got no personality and doesn't take care of herself anywhere. Jack, no.
I'll take the Fonseca. I'll take the Fonseca.
Nuno. I mean, why would Nuno go there? He got so much. He's such a better manager than that. I'm sorry.
I think that if he keeps Norwich up, like that's a pretty big accomplishment.
I think Nuno would be the best Norwich could get, but I don't think they'll get him because he's still by far and away above them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Spurs and Nuno was just the most moronic decision on every single level. They should have gotten Conte from the start. Like Conte was the best hire, and they lucked out that United's owners didn't fire Ole in time to get him. Now they're left holding their wee. I was saying that more bad word, because they kept Ole around. Spurs lose to United. They swoop up their number one target, and then now they're left. Well, who do you go? Zidane doesn't really want the job.
Zidane doesn't want to come to the Premier League ever, he said. So, I mean, if I was United, I've said it multiple times, I don't think he would go there, but I'd put all my eggs in the Simeone basket.
Really?
But I don't think he would go there, to be honest. Lampard is interesting. I forgot he existed, to be honest.
He needs to re-up his reputation after not Chelsea's failure, but he could use that. Prove that
I don't think he should go there, though. If I was Frank and I got offered that job, I'd be like, nope.
Here's the thing, right? Is a manager who needs to prove something, like they have to know much on their resume, shouldn't take it. So the Gerrards and Lampards shouldn't take it, like, because that can just stain your record. Versus if you are a proven, like people know what you're like a Pardew, Warnock,
Pardiola.
Like there's too much. There's too much. They're getting 10 Hog. What? Oh,
Norwich.
United.
I don't think Ten Hag will leave Ajax, to be honest. He's Ajax through and through. I think if he does, he would go to the Bundesliga. I was surprised when Bayern Munich, when they sacked Hansi Flick and they got Nagelsmann. I thought they were going to go for Erik Ten Hag before him, but
I know that as well. I was quite surprised by that decision.
If the Mancs get him, they've got Edwin van der Sar as their director of football, but won't the relationship of Donny van der Bench, like, technically, like, he came on today, by the way. I nearly gave away a goal with his first touch.
I'm gonna kind of segue a tiny bit. Van de Beek as a false nine under Klopp would be beautiful.
Van de Beek.
Van de Beek as a false nine. He was a 10.
You're starting to sound too much like me. This is not good.
That would be very fascinating. But I think that for United is the reason Ole is still around is because he is a yes man, because he is not going to challenge the ownership structure of Manchester United. He could get them top four, challenge for a cup, and they'll be fine with that. But the fact of the matter is they have too much talent to be doing that. And I'm happy for Ole.
And spend too much money.
Because Ole, I mean, You say Ole to Norwich. Would he even get the Norwich job? If he was a manager on the market right now, would Norwich even offer him the job? I don't think they would, because failed at Cardiff, has with abundant resources at United not won a single trophy. Yeah, he's got good league placements, which is what Norwich care about, but they don't have anywhere near those resources.
I could walk in. I think, right? I could walk into Manchester United and get them into. I would just let them go and do their thing. I reckon they'd come top 6.
Yeah.
It's not the most difficult job in the world in terms of getting into that level.
They need very little navigating, and yet Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making it seem that it's a really tumultuous job. It's a lot of difficulty to it.
It is a difficult job, like in terms of the pressure.
The fact of the matter is, though, this team has got 17 points from potential 33. So it drops 16. I mean, you've nearly got half the amount of points you possibly could have. So that is,
they're out of the title race already, which I think that's a given.
Yeah, I mean, they're 9 points behind Chelsea. I mean, they have not. I mean, head to head against title contenders, lost 5-0 to Liverpool, lost 2-0 to City. Like they
haven't even played anyone decent apart from that, really.
I mean, like it's so apparent to everybody that is not the ownership at Manchester United that it's just a terrible, terrible, terrible idea.
As long as he can stay here for as long as he wants.
I'm glad
we said it at the start of the season as well. We said it before the season even started. We didn't think it'd be this bad. We didn't think we'd go there and win 5-0. But honestly,
I still can't believe he survived 5-0. I mean,
I'm very surprised.
He does not have enough in the. I mean, I cannot believe that he has enough in the bank to keep him his job there. If Klopp lost 5-0, he lost 4-1. 4-1.
Well, it was like when Rodgers stayed after we lost 6-1 to Stoke. But in the end, I think the board always wanted Jurgen Klopp.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, they had to wait. He didn't want to go in the summer because of a sabbatical. But then he changed his mind when they sacked him, so that was great. But it was like he was sort of, how can your players respect you? And I don't think Brendan Rodgers I think Brendan Rodgers lost all of his respect when Steven Gerrard was benched on the Bernabeu, which was 7 years ago. 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Not 7. Yeah, 7 years ago. By the way, that's crazy.
Monis, I predicted United. Maybe not on this, but I have another channel where I talk about football with my dad. I predicted United to finish 5th there. I 100% could see them finishing outside top 4. I said that before the year started. It was before Ronaldo signed, admittedly, and he makes a huge impact. And I have to hold my hands up and admit, if Matty, I don't think he's watching, but he'd be happy to hear that he said Ronaldo's going to kill it in the Prem. And while he has his issues in his all-round game, he has scored a ton of goals. And he's scored some important ones. So he does deserve a little bit of an apology in terms of that. But
I don't know, mate, because yes, Ronaldo scored his goals.
No one else has been scoring those goals.
But was that to the detriment of, and is that to the detriment of Manchester United as a whole?
They didn't play this bad last year, so that is a decent point. They weren't this bad last year.
I think the crowd not being there helped as well for them. 100%. Even though I think Old Trafford is, when it gets going, is one of the best grounds in the league. It's a toxic place. Mm-hmm. It's full of toxic people who somehow support this scummy club, and I can't. I don't think I predicted it on the channel either. For them to finish in the top 4 purely because of Oli, but I think the Ronaldo signing is to their detriment. It's the same, I think it's a little bit of Zlatan syndrome on it, because Zlatan was brilliant at Man United. He was excellent, but everything revolved around Zlatan. And it's the same here with Ronaldo. It's the same system. They finished 6th with Zlatan. People forget that. No matter how good he was, everything was Zlatan. And it's the same with Ronaldo.
Yeah. I'm looking at my predictions right now. I had Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Leicester, United. So Leicester was a bit high, but that was my top 5. I had Spurs in 6th as well. That one doesn't look too good right
But yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I had Newcastle in the top half, so I'm a visionary. I actually meant that for like 5 years time.
No, I definitely agree that he did not deserve that Player of the Month that he got, Ronaldo. But I think that overall, United's talent level, it's nothing was clearer that he has no tactical clue than when he shifted to the back five. And the shifting the goalposts from United fans who defend him is, well, at least it's good football to watch. It's not good football to watch. You're playing five at the back. You're doing what Tuchel does without the results. You're doing what Conte does without the results. It's like they do those things for structure defensively and for things. Everyone can see it from a mile away. You do not buy a defensive midfielder who has a pulse. You have Fred and McTominay, who are garbage, as your best holding midfielder.
Especially Fred, by the way. Is it Matty I spoke to the other day that rates McTominay? Like
McTominay, he's improved a lot. But I think
does he get in any other team
no.
in the top 10, let alone the top?
If he's a rotation player, fine with that. If he's your Carabao Cup guy, fine. But he's a starter at Manchester United.
It's funny.
That is a good point, Mona. They scraped a point today, which is big for them. But if their owners, they got to spend a lot in January to avoid that from happening, because that would be just a huge setback.
Yeah, I haven't got your thoughts on it, mate. Really, Newcastle's owners, will they? How long will it take before Newcastle are title challengers?
I mean to do a deeper dive on this on the other channel it's the Footy 5. If you're at all interested, go and check it out. I don't mean to self-plug, but I mean to do like a deeper dive in because when Chelsea were taken over, and to a bit of a bigger extent when City were taken over, the gulf between their salaries and the top end players and the top end teams was much smaller. Right now, the amount of money it costs to buy players. If you wanted to buy an Aguero, a Tevez, a company, a Yaya Toure, when City were around, when Chelsea were being taken over, was so much less. The amount of money you had to pump in, it will be 2 to 3 times that. And again, financial fair play, while a joke, also has to recognize that you can't just spend £400 million to add 7 good starters to your side. I expect it to be over half a decade before they're a top 4 challenger. And if they get relegated, it's going to be a decade, I think, until they are a regular trophy challenger with regular investment as the caveat, with regular £100 million plus net investments in this squad. It's still going to take a long, long time.
It is going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to playing with them on Football Manager as well.
Are you getting a new game?
I've already got it. I'm on the beta at the moment. I'm on Valderrama National North, so I might do a Newcastle save, but everyone's going to do a Newcastle save. So we might bring out some FM content on the channel. We might do some collaborative stuff.
I think we should. I'm going to get the new game when it's fully out on the 9th.
It's out in like 2 days.
Yeah, it's out very, very soon. So I'm going to get it very, very soon.
I'm a massive nerd when it comes to it. So
I love it as well. I had a big Leighton Orient save 2 FMs ago. I took Bolton to the Champions League this current FM. So I'm a big fan of those sides.
We could do an FM live stream. Everyone get on it.
I think that would be fun as hell. I think that would be like
get Matty on it. I think Matty would be terrible.
Matty, he doesn't know any of the small things, So it's like that would be the big issue with him.
Matty would be like, yeah, mate, yeah, sound. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone joining on the stream. It was good fun. We got into a bit of a tangent. We did start on the West Ham, but we will potentially have a watch long for you tomorrow. We don't know if anyone's available on the team, but one or a couple of others could be available, so that'd be nice. If not, sound. See you in a bit, but we'll make sure to follow us and subscribe to the channel as well. Why wouldn't you subscribe to the channel? It's a great laugh. And yeah, peace and love, and have a very good rest of your weekend. See you later.